Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wingcat Sports. And through construction, we are still making videos. We're going to get to the Red Wings. It's been a little bit behind on schedule for the Red Wings, but we're finally getting to everything that has happened since the draft. Biggest thing that has happened since then was really the first thing that happened is that us trading for John Gibson. We gave up Peter Mrazek and a couple picks. Basically, what you got from Chicago, you gave to Anaheim for John Gibson. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but you still don't have a defensive problem even after free agent signings.
I think he's a noticeable upgrade, and you didn't give up much for him. The second round pick maybe, but you know what? If this guy is a solid goaltender, I think along with Talbot, you'll have a solid tandem. Go back and forth. Neither one should be really taxed much because I think they're play about even.
They should. They probably will.
I don't see. I think it was a good signing. You should be at least solid in goal.
Sure.
Maybe not amazing, but I'm hoping our defense and players like Edmondson get better. That they just keep improving. That Johansson keeps improving. Gustafsson didn't have a good year last year, and I'm hoping he plays better. We still have time. Maybe they'll trade for somebody.
That's what he's talked about. The free agent signings are kind of done because this was a very weak free agent class.
Right.
But from what I've heard, trades are still on the table. We'll see what he decides to do, though. You did get rid of Vladimir Tarasenko for future considerations.
Great.
They took all the cap, so there's no cap hit for Tarasenko this year. So overall, you at least have opened up some cap space there, but you haven't really done anything major. You re-signed Bergeron to a 1-year contract worth $1.8 million. Then you re-signed Patrick Kane to a 1-year contract worth $3 million in total, which is less than he previously made, which is pretty good there too, making less money. And then from there, you signed Jeff Van Riemsdyk, Jacob Bernard-Docker, and Ian Mitchell as well in the first day. Again, nobody who's going to blow you away. Some good depth.
Well,
I think Van Riemsdyk should be able to help the penalty kill probably a little bit.
For 1 year, he
and play pretty well
last year. Not playing.
He's not. I would say he's not terrible. No. It's just nothing. Iceman didn't do anything that blew anybody away.
Right. I'm right. I mean, like I said, I like Van Riemsdyk. The other guys are more like depth signings, and they're going to be in Grand Rapids. Maybe the one kid.
Appleton's probably going to be your fourth line center.
Right. Appleton is.
And then Ian Mitchell will probably be your sixth. He's going to replace Jeff Petrie.
I don't think it'll be Ian Mitchell. It'll be the other guy. Who's the guy we got from Buffalo?
Did you get someone from Buffalo?
Well, no. That defenseman who didn't sign with Buffalo but signed with us.
I have no idea what's going on.
Because I've heard better things about him.
Well, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening.
Right.
Everybody's been re-signed. All your restricted free agents. Johansson signed for 2 more years.
Petrie's gone.
Yes. I've already said that. Soderblom signed for 2 more years as well. I don't think you're going to get rid of Hall.
You got to just dump him.
I don't think you are.
No, I think
he only got 1 more year anyway.
He
so.
Just got
you can't trade him.
Let him go.
You can't trade him. You're going to have to buy him out. And I think you're already past the buyout date.
Well, then let him rot somewhere because he ain't freaking good. Shouldn't play. Stinks.
I was like, you can't do anything because he has a no trade clause. I don't know why you signed him to a no trade clause, but
yeah, I mean that guy stinks. But okay.
But it is going to be interesting to see what kind of Iceman does going forward. Your lines are a little weird. But hey, we'll see what happens. Appleton, I don't really know much about because he was a bottom line guy. Jeff Van Riemsdyk, at least I've heard of. And again, he's been semi-productive even in his later years, and he's probably going to help with the penalty kill this year.
He's a physical player.
Ian Mitchell, the only picture I saw of him, he was fighting somebody, so we'll see how that goes. Some more aggression on the team maybe there, but
I think it's more like you said. I think we're waiting to see, is there going to be a trade? Is there going to be a deal? You have Bowen Byram out there from Buffalo, and You have the kid from Robertson from Dallas. Those would be massive signings, big signings. I think they said if we sign somebody like Bowen Byram, we'd have to give up a first, a third, and I forget what else. There was, I think, 3 different picks that we'd have to give up for signing him.
Oh yeah, the thing is how much does Eiserman want to give up? How much?
I know that, like I said, the local pundits are on him. He's getting a lot of pressure from the media to do something in the fan base.
And that's the problem is what do you want him to do? Do you want him to give up the future? Because if he's going to give up the future, everyone who wants Danielson to play on a team, he's never going to be a Red Wing. He'll be part of any package.
Right.
If you want someone big, you are going to lose out on Danielson being a Red Wing.
Right.
It's what you're going to have to deal with.
You might want him.
You're going to lose out on a bigger name.
I guess I'd like to see what Eiserman's like when he's talking to these players and talking to these agents, because he just comes across so unexcited about anything when you watch him in pressers. He just seems like he doesn't give a shit. And that, I don't know if that's just his personality and what he does, but he just doesn't seem to care. And that is what throws people off. I hope that isn't the case.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're a player wanting to sign with the team, Steve Eiserman's personality better be a hell of a lot better than it is on camera. Try to sell this team and why you should come here. And maybe he doesn't have that ability. And that would be a legitimate complaint, because maybe somebody else with more energy or more salesmanship, I guess, to try to sell this club. Because, like I said, if we're dealing with the on-camera Eiserman, I mean, I pray we fall asleep before he finishes a couple sentences.
It's just different when you look overall, right, with what he has to do, with trying to find somebody. There isn't a lot. You can go after one of the Hughes brothers. Luke Hughes is a free agent still. You can get one of the Hughes brothers on the team.
How? Luke Hughes, what does he play?
Defense.
I get confused.
He plays defense.
For the Devils?
Yeah.
Him?
Luke Hughes.
Okay. Do they have two? They have Jack Hughes too, right?
Yes.
On the Devils?
Yes.
Is Luke Hughes? I know Quinn Hughes is a really good defenseman. Is Luke Hughes?
I have no idea. I haven't heard much about him. But maybe you get one.
Jack Hughes.
You might, if you get one Hughes brother, maybe you can convince one of the other ones to come here in the next contract year.
Right. We could have had Quinn Hughes. We drafted him.
Like outside of that, like looking what you want, 37-year-old Max Pacioretty.
No, that's not a big signing. We just got Van Reem's like same kind of player.
I was about to say, like, what? Looking overall, who you got?
I don't think there's anybody else to get other than if you can
bring back Joe Villano, because the Kraken cut him. So.
Well, that just shows you that he made the right choice there. We don't need any bottom six forwards.
Get Robbie Fabry, Andreas Athanasiou back.
We don't need any bottom six forwards or bottom four defensemen. We need
top
notch guy.
And again,
if you can't get that thing, you already got these guys. You might as well go with youth. You might as well give a Palika a try. He's doing really well in the minors.
Well, and that's just the thing. What exactly are they going to try to do? You have to be hopeful that they get rid of, or willing to get rid of prospects, the right prospects.
If you follow like the model that the Tigers are using right now, and you're just hoping that a lot of these younger players suddenly just turn into something special. Casper
has been well. Soderblom, we'll see how he goes.
And that's what's happened with the Tigers, and it's really been. Maybe they think the same thing can happen with the Wings, and you're hoping, like I said.
So the only difference is between who's right.
I think
the only difference
into somebody really good if he can get his game together.
You only have one difference. The Red Wings seem to not want to play the young guys, while the Tigers saying, "Screw it, I'll play the young guys."
I just don't get that. I don't.
But at the same time, when do you want to call people up?
By the same people, you think that they would have the same philosophy in some ways.
Maybe that just shows you how hands off Chris Illich actually is. With one team, they're doing kind of the exact opposite.
People
But
are going to be upset if Yzerman goes into this with like $15 million in cap space and didn't spend it on anybody.
and no, unless it's 1 year deals, I kind of can see it because next year,
no, I get it.
Next year it's a stacked free agent class as long as all of them don't re-sign with their teams. That Robinson's going to be a free agent. McDavid's going to be a free agent. You're going to have these big names that are going to be available. The only problem is, can you convince them to come to Detroit?
That's the thing.
And
Steve,
I don't know if that's a selling point as much as it used to be.
I agree. No, it isn't. Not at all. And that's what I mean. I kind of laugh at these people. I was watching Woodward Sports and whoever those goofballs are. And I actually agree with Darren McCarty for a change. I just don't see how any of these guys don't understand. No one is leaving Florida. If they'll sign for less to play for Florida.
Well, they're winning.
They don't want to leave there, and they won't. As long as Florida will give them a reasonable contract, they're going to stay in a place like that.
People could say it's because
was never coming here. Never.
People could say it's because, the tax break. It's not fully about the tax break. Everybody stays with the people who's the team
weather,
that's winning.
It's the winning. It's everything. They have probably the best team the NHL has seen in the past 20 years.
Probably since the Red Wings.
Amazing.
Probably the early 2000 Red Wings.
Right. That team is fucking amazing. Who would not want to play on the Florida Panthers? It's tax breaks. It's weather. It's freaking awesome.
And now again, it doesn't. All that stuff doesn't fully matter because if they were bottom feeders of the league, not everyone would sign there. Them playing well just makes everything else an advantage.
Well, right. At least you have something. If you're a shit team, they don't want to play for that. But maybe that would be something. There is no negatives.
Once you are
other than gigantic cockroaches and alligators, maybe if you're afraid of them or something. But why would you not want to play for Florida?
And again, that becomes the issue because again, next year stacked free agent class. You got Connor McDavid, Panarin, Jack Eichel, Sergei Bobrovsky.
They're talking about, kind of like the DeBrincat situation. Maybe a kid who wants to play for his home state.
Yeah,
a guy like Connor in Winnipeg, a really good player.
He's going to be a free agent next year. Kyle Connor. He's a free agent next year.
Kind of hoping for that. Maybe he has an attachment to this area, and maybe that's appealing
and that's what I said,
to get him to come here.
Because that is a lot. Because again, Cale Makar, free agent. Kaprizov, free agent. Lane, free agent. Trouba, free agent. Jason Robertson will be a restricted free agent. Kyle Connor is a free agent next year. Again, there is a Martin Necas is a free agent next year.
Right.
So I'm not going to be that mad if overall Yzerman decides not to go all in fully this year. Right. As long as he goes all in next year.
I think if the players like DeBrincat have a similar year, because he had a great year, if he can keep that up and other players elevate their game, you get somebody like Raymond who's going to score in the 35 to 40 range. You have,
you got Casper who could potentially put up 30 goals this year.
25 to 30. You got
Larkin actually played well.
Can just keep playing the way he's playing. I think Larkin, like I said, he is playing as good as he can play. I think Dylan Larkin is what he is. He's not a great number one center. He would be a great number two center. But he's borderline number one center. And he does the best he can. He plays his ass off every game. He tries to be the model player. But he is what he is. And I think you got other players on this team. I would like to see Kane. I know it's asking a lot, but they said that they're going to reduce his role basically down to, they would love to sign somebody that they could put on the second line and put him down on the third and just keep him as basically a power play specialist. Some guy to stick out there and you can get 20 to 25 goals out of him.
But he still hasn't done bad overall. He still almost averages a point a game. Last year he was slightly under it. So, I'm not even upset if he is on the second line with DeBrincat and Casper. That's a great line.
Contract. I mean,
and this is how it's going to be year by year. But again, next year, depending on how everything goes, you're probably not going to be able to get Cale Makar. But you're going to lose both Hall and Sherratt next year. They'll both be free agents. That's money opened
I
up.
like the way Sherrod's been playing the last 2 years.
He
I
hasn't been
like the
playing
way
bad. If they want to resign him, I
he's
kind of.
solid.
As long as the
He's a
deal's good.
solid bottom.
But
maybe a fifth or
regardless,
sixth.
you're going to
You
get
could put him there. He'd be. I'd like that.
the cap is going to raise next year. You're going to have a lot of opportunity next year to sign some bigger names than we're here this year. And it does suck that nothing big has happened. You signed bottom 6 guys for the most part, which is not what anybody really wanted. But you improved your goaltending. Even if it's slightly improved, you've improved your goaltending. And hopefully that will transition to at least a wild card berth this year. You've been right there. You need something to get you over the hump.
We have to play better in front of our. If we play better in front of our goaltender defensively, I think our goaltending is improved. I think we're going to win more games that way. We just got to hope, like I said, like with the Tiger thing, is that a lot of these players that really play well, they play better than what they've been. You see a solid Gustafson on defense. You see maybe a Pellicka come up. You see a better Johansson. Edmondson playing better. He's in his 3rd year now. The guy should start being a very good defenseman. We expect him to be an all-star. Edmondson.
But so Evanson should be playing. Johansson's going to probably improve a little bit. Evanson should improve
Cedar
improve a little
playing solid. That's what we got.
You at least have 3 guys that you are confident in. Then you got Sherrod.
Do you think they're going to put Sherrod with him?
I probably assume Evanson.
You think they're just going to have the 2 young kids?
That's what I would do. But maybe you'll have Johansson and Evanson together, and Sherrod will be on the top line.
Is Evanson more of like an offensive type?
I don't think so, but we don't really have any.
Well, Cedar is. Who is our offensive defense?
Gustafson. That's what you got him for the power play.
We really losing Gostisbehere really hurt us.
But you couldn't keep him.
Very good offensive guy.
You couldn't keep him though. That was the only problem. You couldn't keep any of the guys that you lost from a couple years ago. But again, we'll keep pushing.
He was great.
Everybody but the other thing I don't get is everybody wants these young guys to play right away, and that's also not the. Eichmann, I think, waits too long. But
been with us for 2 years now, right? So
yeah, but this
isn't
isn't this isn't the MLB though, where you rush people up.
Okay,
you usually people are in the minors for 3-4 years typically.
Well, right. I mean, draft them when they're like 17, 18. So
and they usually don't play till they're 21, 22. Which, again, he probably has another year. So he hasn't even played any American hockey yet. He's just been playing in the Swedish league. He needs a year in the AHL to see how we are transitioning. You can't just immediately pull him into the NHL just because he's done. You got all our foreign guys. You at least got to give them a chance in the AHL before they even come.
All right.
But we're going to end it here. A little bit longer video. If you'd like to see, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the Wings and what they potentially can do. Videos are going to be a little bit scattered amongst moving and construction. But we're still going to try and keep up with them. Until next time, hope to see everybody soon.